In the annals of biblical history, few names evoke as much trepidation as Jezebel, a queen who defied God and led a nation into idolatry. Let's journey back in time to the ancient city of Sidon, where our tale begins. Born into royalty, Jezebel was the daughter of Ethbal, king of the Sidonians. A princess raised amidst the opulence of her father's court, she was no stranger to power and influence. Yet her world was about to change dramatically. A diplomatic marriage was arranged between Jezebel and King Ahab of Israel, a union that would forever alter the spiritual landscape of the nation. Jezebel, a devout follower of the Canaanite god Baal, was not content with the religious status quo in Israel. She set out to introduce the worship of her god into her new home, a move that sent shockwaves through a kingdom deeply rooted in the worship of Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This was no simple intermingling of religious practices. It was a seismic shift, a deliberate and bold defiance of the God of Israel. Jezebel was not just a queen, she was a catalyst for change, though many would argue it was a change for the worse. The arrival of Jezebel in Israel was like a cold wind sweeping through the land. It was a wind that carried with it the chill of tension, the threat of conflict, and the seeds of division. The people of Israel found themselves torn between the faith of their forefathers and the allure of this exotic new religion promoted by their queen. Imagine the cultural and religious tensions simmering beneath the surface, the unease and uncertainty as the people grappled with this sudden change. The stage was set for a spiritual battle of epic proportions, a battle that would test the faith of a nation and challenge the very foundations of their beliefs. With her entrance, a dark cloud descended over Israel, setting the stage for a spiritual battle that would define an era. The stage was set on Mount Carmel, a showdown between the prophets of Baal and the prophet Elijah. In the heart of ancient Israel, the landscape was charged with tension, the air heavy with anticipation. Mount Carmel, a fertile, lush mountain range, became the backdrop for a contest that would forever change the religious landscape of Israel. The challenge? A simple yet profound test. Who could call down fire from heaven, Baal or the God of Israel? Elijah, the prophet of God, stood alone, his heart steadfast. Opposite him, 450 prophets of Baal, backed by the formidable Queen Jezebel. The prophets of Baal called and danced, their pleas echoing across the mountain, but to no avail. The heavens remained silent. Then came Elijah's turn. He rebuilt the altar of the Lord, arranged the wood, cut the bull into pieces and laid it on the wood. In a dramatic twist, he had water poured over the offering and the wood, not once but 3 times until the water ran around the altar and filled the trench. Then, Elijah prayed, his voice steady and resolute. What happened next was nothing short of miraculous. Fire fell from the heavens, consuming the water-soaked offering, the wood, the stones, and even the dust around the altar. The people who had gathered watched in awe, their hearts struck by the undeniable power of the God of Israel. Yet, amidst this divine display, Jezebel's heart remained untouched. Despite the defeat of Baal's prophets, she refused to yield. Instead, she grew defiant. Her wrath ignited. She threatened Elijah's life, vowing to make him as one of the slain prophets of Baal. In the face of divine proof, Jezebel's defiance only grew stronger, marking the beginning of her downfall. This pivotal event at Mount Carmel set the stage for the dramatic chapters that were to follow in the story of Jezebel, the queen whose name would forever echo through the annals of biblical history as a symbol of defiance against the divine. A vineyard, a king's desire, and a queen's wicked scheme. The tale of Naboths Vineyard reveals the depths of Jezebel's malevolence. In the heart of Jezreel, a vineyard flourished under the care of a man named Naboth. This vineyard, a heritage passed down from his ancestors, was more than just a patch of land. It was a symbol of his family's legacy. Adjacent to the royal palace, it caught the covetous eye of King Ahab. The king desired it for a vegetable garden, a simple whim that would unravel a tale of deceit and treachery. Ahab proposed an exchange to Naboth, offering him a better vineyard or its worth in silver. But for Naboth, this was not just a transaction. His vineyard was an inheritance from his fathers, something he could not part with. He respectfully declined the king's offer, standing firm in his decision. Entered Jezebel, the queen with a heart hardened by her lust for power and control. When she saw Ahab's dejected state, she concocted a wicked scheme. She promised Ahab that she would give him the vineyard, a promise that involved a heinous act of corruption and injustice. Jezebel wrote letters in Ahab's name, sealed them with his seal, and sent them to the elders and nobles of the city. She orchestrated a false accusation against Naboth, charging him with cursing both God and the king. Under this false charge, Naboth was stoned to death by the people of the city. Ahab, blinded by his desire, took possession of the vineyard unaware of the price paid for it. But the heavens were watching, and the prophet Elijah was sent to prophesy against Ahab and Jezebel. God's judgment was declared, a prophecy of doom and destruction for their acts of wickedness. The blood of Naboth cried out from the ground, and God's judgment was declared against Jezebel. The tale of Naboth's Vineyard serves as a stark reminder of the depths of Jezebel's malevolence, a testament to the extent of her wickedness. Every action has a consequence, and for Jezebel, her pride and wickedness would lead to a gruesome end. The prophecy regarding Jezebel's demise was a chilling foretelling, a divine decree that would not be taken lightly. It was the prophet Elijah who, in the name of the Lord, pronounced the impending doom for the queen. The prophecy was clear. Jezebel would meet her end in the territory of Jezreel, and her body would be devoured by dogs, a fate considered the most dishonorable in the culture of the time. As the prophecy foretold, the wheels of fate began to turn. Jehu, a military commander, had been anointed by the prophet Elisha to be the next king of Israel. He was also tasked with the divine mission to wipe out the house of Ahab, Jezebel's husband, and with it the worship of Baal that Jezebel had propagated. The day of reckoning arrived. Jehu rode into the city of Jezreel with the fury of divine judgment. Jezebel, in her arrogance, adorned herself, painted her face, and watched from a window as Jehu approached. She taunted him, but Jehu was unmoved. He called out, and her own servants, in fear of the wrath of God, threw her from the window. Her blood splattered on the wall and on the horses that trampled her underfoot. True to the prophecy, her body was left in the street to be devoured by dogs. By the time they went to bury her, nothing was left but her skull, feet, and the palms of her hands. The fall of Jezebel sent a powerful message to the people of Israel. It was a clear demonstration of the divine judgment that awaited those who defied the Lord, those who led his people astray. It was a stark reminder of the consequences of pride, wickedness, and the worship of false gods. In her death, Jezebel became a symbol of the divine judgment that befalls those who defy God. Jezebel's story echoes through the ages, a chilling reminder of the consequences of defiance and idolatry. Her reign, marked by corruption and idol worship, set the stage for a period of turmoil in the history of Israel, an epoch that would be remembered for its deviation from the path of righteousness. Jezebel's influence was far-reaching, her decisions leading Israel astray from its spiritual roots. She not only promoted the worship of Baal, but also sought to wipe out the prophets of God, changing the spiritual landscape of the land. This period of Israel's history is marked by conflict and spiritual strife, a testament to the destructive power of Jezebel's rule. Her legacy, however, extends beyond the historical impact on Israel. Jezebel's name has become a symbol in biblical literature, synonymous with wickedness and idolatry. Her story is repeatedly referenced in the scriptures, serving as a warning to those who would defy God's commandments. Jezebel's name has effectively become a byword for defiance against God, evil, and corruption. Yet, within this dark legacy, there are lessons to be learned. Jezebel's story is a stark reminder of the destructive power of pride and arrogance. It's a cautionary tale that highlights the importance of humility and obedience to God's will. Her downfall, a consequence of her pride and defiance, serves as a poignant lesson about the dangers of straying from the path of righteousness. Despite her ignominious end, Jezebel's influence did not die with her. Her legacy lived on in her descendants, who continued to lead Israel into sin. Yet it was this very legacy that eventually led to the fall of the house of Ahab and the restoration of righteousness in Israel. In the end, Jezebel's story serves as a stark warning, a beacon of the destructive power of pride and defiance against God. Her legacy, while marred by sin and corruption, holds valuable lessons for us all, reminding us of the dire consequences of turning away from the path of righteousness.